let's explore the OTPF. This is designed to give you sort of a roadmap of what's in the OTPF-4. I will also be asking you to actually read through the OTPF-4, and you'll be using it as a reference guide as you move through the semester and move through your assignments, not only in this class, but in your other courses as well. There's two sections to the OTPF. The first is the domain, and the second is the process. And we're going to be looking at the domain and the process separately because they each have a number of different sections within their subsection. The domain outlines OT's body of knowledge and expertise. So that's what are we responsible for and what falls to other professionals when we're working with a client. The process, in a nutshell, is how OT is delivered. Basically, we evaluate clients to see how they're doing and where their areas of need are. We come up with and implement interventions, that's the treatment. We assess, and then we deal with outcomes. In other words, what happens when they're done? What happens when they've achieved their original set of goals? Things like that. So the domain has 5 parts. I'm going to say them here and then we'll go through them one at a time. Occupations, client factors, performance skills, performance patterns, and contexts and environments. So the first part is occupations. And as you know, or you will be intimately familiar, we have a number of areas of occupation. I'm not going to belabor it here, but you have definitions and descriptions in your presenter notes on the slide deck, so be sure to download that. They include activities of daily living, intrinsic or instrumental activities of daily living, health management. This is a new occupation in the OTPF-4. It used to be part of IADLs. Then we have rest and sleep, education, work, play, leisure, and social participation. The second piece is contexts. And if you look in your presenter notes, for most of the information in this lecture, you will be referencing tables at the back of the OTPF, and that will give you information about what's going on in each section and subsection. The first part of the OTPF document gives you kind of a rundown and overview, and the second half, all of the tables, give you the actual hunks of information that you're going to need to use, as well as examples to make the OTPF an actual kind of document that you're using for work as opposed to reading and understanding. All right, back to contexts. We have a couple different types of contexts. We have environmental factors and personal factors. Environmental factors are the aspects of physical, social, and attitudinal surroundings in which people live and conduct their lives. So that's everything around us physically, socially, and attitudinally. Personal factors are the particular background of a person's life and consist of the unique features of a person that are not part of the health condition or health state. So personal factors can include things like age, sexual orientation, gender identity, race and ethnicity, cultural identification, socioeconomic status, education, lifestyle, health and fitness, all of the things that are not part of the condition or disability process, right? But they contribute to making that person who they are. And again, you can read in more detail in the OTPF, either the first section or in the tables, as well as in the presenter notes of this lecture. The next section is performance patterns. Included in performance patterns are habits, routines, roles, and rituals that may be associated with different lifestyles and used in the process of engaging in occupations or activities. These patterns are influenced by context and time use, and they can either support or hinder performance. So there are things that may help an individual. There are other things that may actually make life harder for that person. For example, a habit of waking up and exercising may be really productive for a person and contribute to their wellness. On the other hand, a habit of smoking a pack of cigarettes a day could actually be pretty damaging to a person. So we're not placing a value judgment on whether any of these things in and of themselves are positive or negative, but they're things that we're considering that contribute to a person's ability to engage in their occupations. The next area is performance skills. Performance skills are the observable, goal-directed actions that result in a client's quality of performing desired occupations, and they are supported by contexts. So what does that mean? Well, there's 3 categories of performance skills. There's motor, so that's how you position your body, how you move yourself and move objects, and how you keep your performance going. Then there's the process of doing that. So again, there's the sustaining of performance, applying your knowledge to what you're doing, organizing your timing, and then changing your performance or adapting it depending on the needs and demands of the environment. And finally, there's social interaction, which includes initiating and stopping social interaction. So, being in relationship with other people, physically supporting social interaction, shaping the content of it. So it's all the things that go into how do we interact with other people when we're engaged in performing skills. Next, we have client factors. Again, there's 3 different areas, and client factors include values, beliefs, and spirituality. So that is the deep down, what do you hold dear, and how do you kind of frame your worldview, right? And how do you make sense of things in your world? Then body functions and body structures. So the values, beliefs, and spirituality I just talked about for just a moment. Body functions have to do with how the body is working. So we have areas including mental functions, sensory functions, neuromuscular and movement functions, cardiovascular, hematological, immunological, and respiratory functions, voice and speech, digestive, metabolic, endocrine, and genitourinary and reproductive functions, and then skin and related functions. So a lot of functions. And so for those of you that are interested in the nuts and bolts and guts about how people work, the body functions is the area of the OTPF that really digs into that. Finally, we have body structures, and body structures are the anatomy that is related to all of the body functions, so the actual parts of the body. They are affected by the presence or absence of illness, disease, deprivation, disability, and life experiences. So it's not only like I have an illness and now I can't do something, right? And my body is affected. Sometimes life experience or occupational deprivation is actually going to affect some of these factors. This is actually a visual model from the OTPF 3, the last edition, which came out in 2014, and it's just for your reference. It's the domain of occupational therapy. So it's occupations, and it does not include health maintenance, right? Because as I said earlier, that got pulled out of instrumental activities of daily living. Notice in the middle are performance skills, performance patterns, and client factors, right? So we have the context and the environment, and surrounding that are all of our occupations.